This is the tale of Moses, a man destined to rise from the palaces of Egypt as a prince to confront the darkness that loomed over his people, the Hebrews, enslaved and forgotten. Beneath the splendor of the most powerful empire on earth, their cries for deliverance echoed through the heavens as a divine plan began to unfold. But their deliverer would be born into danger, a paradox of fate intertwined with history. As the Nile flowed quietly, a mother's heart shattered with the weight of her decision, sending her precious son adrift into the unknown, a desperate act of courage. Little did they know, this journey would lead to an encounter that would change the course of history forever. In the heart of the royal palace, a young Moses enjoyed a life of unparalleled privilege, yet deep within him lay a stirring conflict, a sense of belonging that felt misleading. When he witnessed the cruelty inflicted upon his people, the slumbering fire of rebellion ignited, driving him to confront the truth of his lineage. Moses, torn by the weight of his reality, confronted the authority before him, a bold act born from compassion that would ultimately lead to his exile. Fleeing into the desolate wilderness, this prince became a fugitive, his identity shattered as he sought solace among the weary yet resilient people. In the vast emptiness of the desert, a chance encounter transformed Moses' solitude into a flicker of hope as he witnessed the kindness and unity of strangers. Little did he know this moment would pave the way for new beginnings and a purpose he had yet to understand. In a moment of divine intervention, Moses encountered a sight that would forever change his life, a burning bush that whispered the call of destiny. Chosen for an extraordinary purpose, he stood at the crossroads of courage and obedience, feeling the heavy mantle of responsibility resting upon his shoulders. With the weight of a nation's hope resting upon him, Moses returned to the land of his birth, where the echoes of his people's suffering beckoned him to action. Armed with nothing but faith and a divine message, he was about to challenge the very foundation of oppression that held his people captive. In the heart of Pharaoh's opulence, Moses' voice rang out with a clarity fueled by conviction, a demand for freedom that reverberated against the walls of complacency. As defiance ignited in his spirit, he faced not only a ruler but an entire system of control prepared to resist him at every turn. With faith as their guide, Moses led the Israelites into the heart of the miraculous, the waters of the Red Sea, parting to reveal a pathway to salvation. In that moment of tension and uncertainty, each step taken was a step toward liberation and a future unbound by chains. High above the chaos of the world below, Moses received the commandments that would lay the foundation for a new moral order. In that sacred encounter, he grasped not just stone tablets, but the profound commitment to lead his people toward righteousness and justice. As he descended from the mountaintop, Moses was met with chaos and betrayal. A people he had liberated now turned to false idols. In the depths of his heart, he felt the weight of disappointment, knowing that faith could be as fragile as the tablets he clutched tightly in his hands. In the shadow of wrath, Moses stood as a bridge between divine justice and human frailty, imploring for mercy on behalf of those who had strayed. His heart carried the hopes and fears of a nation, and in that moment he embraced his role not just as a leader, but as a devoted advocate for redemption. Through vast deserts and relentless challenges, Moses guided his people on a journey marked by trials and triumphs. Each footstep in the shifting sands echoed their collective longing for freedom, illuminating a path forged by faith and the promise of a brighter future. At the edge of destiny, Moses beheld the land flowing with milk and honey, a dream realized for his people yet unattainable for himself. In that bittersweet moment, he understood that true leadership often means bearing burdens alone, finding peace in the legacy of faith passed on to those who would follow. In solitude and reflection, Moses found solace in his unwavering bond with the divine, a reminder that his journey was never solely about himself, but about the covenant made with his people. In that sacred moment, he embraced the role of a servant leader, tethered to faith and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. As the sun began to set over the horizon, Moses delivered his final words, instilling courage and faith in the hearts of his people. In that moment, the echoes of his leadership resounded, a powerful reminder that true legacy lives on in those who continue to walk the path of righteousness. With each step upward, Moses embraced the culmination of his existence, a journey marked by trials, triumphs, and unwavering faith. As he reached the summit, he knew that his story would continue through those he inspired, a flame of hope ignited in the hearts of a new generation. As twilight embraced the horizon, Moses understood that his journey had paved the way for a new chapter etched in the hearts and minds of those who followed. The laws he imparted would guide them, transforming the struggles of the past into a foundation for a future defined by hope and unity. With hearts full of gratitude, the Israelites crossed into the Promised Land, a testament to resilience and faith despite the long journey. The laughter of children echoed through the fields, a promise that the sacrifices made would bloom into a flourishing future filled with possibility. In the glow of the firelight, the sound of laughter and song filled the air as the Israelites celebrated their hard-won freedom. Their joyous gatherings marked not just a new beginning, but the forging of a community bound together by resilience, reminding each other that hope is always within reach. As dawn broke, Moses stood vigil over his people, the weight of leadership resting heavily upon him. He knew the path ahead would be fraught with trials, yet the light of a new day filled him with renewed purpose, ready to guide his people toward their destiny. In the heart of the valley, Moses inspired his people with a vision of courage and faith, igniting a collective spirit that would carry them through. The tablets of law stood as a beacon of hope, promising that their journey would be guided by principles that honored their struggles and aspirations. As they traversed the challenging terrain, the Israelites faced the uncertainties of their journey with unwavering resolve. Each step was a reminder of the sacrifices made as mothers held their children tightly, driven by the hope of a brighter tomorrow that lay just beyond the horizon. As night enveloped the camp, the warmth of the fire brought comfort to weary souls, each story woven with threads of faith and perseverance. Beneath the vast sky, hands reached out toward the stars, filled with dreams of a future that sparkled with infinite possibilities, a promise of hope illuminating their path forward. Standing resolute against the elements, Moses contemplated the formidable mountains ahead, each peak representing an obstacle that would test their resolve. The map before them was not just ink on parchment, it was a symbol of choices and paths yet to be taken, guiding them toward their promised future. With the commanding presence, Moses spoke to the gathered Israelites, igniting a fire of unity and faith among them. In the midst of uncertainty, a young boy clutched a simple stone, embodying the determination and hope that each individual carried, reminding all of the strength found in their collective spirit. As they traversed the sun-scorched plain, the Israelites marched forward, their silhouettes a testament to resilience and hope. Each step was accompanied by silent prayers as the elder lifted his hands to the heavens, seeking divine guidance and strength for the trials that lay ahead. As dark clouds gathered overhead, the Israelites felt the weight of impending challenges, their hearts racing with both fear and determination. Moses, with furrowed brows and beads of sweat on his forehead, carried the burden of leadership, resolutely prepared to guide his people through the tempests that threatened their journey. In a moment that would be etched in history, Moses raised his staff, parting the Red Sea and creating a miraculous path for the Israelites to follow. The young girl, filled with wonder, stepped forward into the extraordinary, embodying the hope and courage of a people ready to embrace their destiny. As the Israelites reached the safety of the shore, joy erupted among them, their eyes filled with disbelief and triumph at the miracle they had witnessed. Moses, gazing back at the receding waters, held a deep sense of relief and determination, aware that their journey was only beginning, filled with promise and challenges ahead. As the Israelites settled at the foot of Mount Sinai, excitement buzzed in the air, their community united in anticipation. Moses bravely ascended the mountain, his heart filled with purpose, carrying the tablets of stone that held the laws meant to guide his people into a new chapter of their existence. Atop Mount Sinai, bolts of lightning lit the heavens as Moses received the commandments, a moment fraught with divine significance. The stone tablets resting upon the rock bore the sacred laws that would shape the identity and future of the Israelites, a covenant linking them forever to their Creator. As Moses descended from Mount Sinai, his heart sank at the sight of his people worshiping a golden calf, a betrayal of the very laws he had just received. The golden idol shone brightly amidst the revelry, embodying the confusion and faithlessness that would challenge their journey forward. With a heavy heart, Moses shattered the stone tablets at the foot of the mountain, the sound echoing like thunder as he expressed his anguish over his people's betrayal. The astonished faces of the Israelites reflected their horror and regret, awakening them to the consequences of their choices. In the aftermath of their folly, the Israelites gathered somberly, listening as Moses spoke of their mistakes and the path to redemption. With renewed determination, he held up the newly engraved tablets, a symbol of hope and a divine opportunity for his people to reclaim their covenant. As Moses led the Israelites through the harsh wilderness, the sun beat down upon them, yet his resolve never wavered. Each child, filled with admiration and hope, looked up to him, symbolizing the future. They all dreamed of a journey toward freedom and a promised land. With trials mounting and uncertainty looming, Moses ascended a rocky outcrop, raising his arms in fervent prayer, seeking divine guidance. A shimmering cloud hovered above the camp, a symbol of God's presence illuminating the path forward as hope flickered in their hearts. As night fell, the warmth of the fire brought the Israelites together, their faces lit by its glow, sharing stories and dreams amid the uncertainty of their journey. An elder spoke passionately, igniting a spark of hope in the hearts of the listeners, urging them to keep faith alive as they traversed the wilderness. As dawn broke over the horizon, golden rays bathed the landscape, and Moses stood resolutely at the head of the caravan, a beacon of hope for the Israelites. A collection of sacred items gathered on a makeshift altar reminded them of their commitment to faith, a guiding light on their arduous journey ahead. Moses gathered the elders around him, their faces reflecting both determination and concern as they strategized for the challenges that lay ahead. In his hands, an ancient scroll unfurled, displaying the divine laws meant to guide them, underscoring the need for obedience and unity in their quest for